It's here. The excitement, the adventure of a new force at breakfast.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's. Twin wings, phased together. For 2 crunches in every double O. A delicious part of this nutritious breakfast. Now you can experience the taste of Kellogg's C-3POs. A crunchy new force at breakfast.
May the force be with you.
This is CBS. Save on designer clothes, Sunday at 11.
Seize them!
Guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
Great Shape Barbie.
Kit, Barbie, you're looking so great.
Here's new Great Shape Barbie doll.
Keep it going, Barbie. Ooh, Barbie, neat leotards. Love your leg warmers. Round and round. Great workout, Barbie. Hurry, headband's in your bag. Where are you off to? Looking that great, it's gotta be a date.
New Great Shape Barbie doll comes with leg warmers, bag, and exercise book. New from Mattel.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
Avengers troopers in the lost and found. Sorry,
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages. He's swinging your way, so stay tuned for Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
Seize the Ape Man!
Right after Dungeons and Dragons.
Tarzan.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons. And now, this message.
Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. It's a fun one. Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. Ooh, chocolate fun. Pure milk chocolate. Delicious and smooth. Oh, if you don't believe me, I'll prove it to you. When you take a bite, oh, you'll say I'm right. Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. It's a fun one. Hershey, Hershey, Hershey. Ooh, chocolate fun.
In the news, a battleship with historic significance. In 1945, aboard the battleship Missouri, Japan surrendered to end World War II. We'll be back with misgivings over a new move for the Missouri in the news.
Sponsored by the many fine products of General Foods.
Watch me scare Fred out of his pebbles. Yow, Martians! Delicious. Barney! Whoops, gotta blast off.
Post Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Now from Pebbles, you can get a Fred Flintstone flying disc for Barney. Or Dino, for fun with a twist, it's a Flintstone flying disc. What an especially marked box of Post Fruity or Cocoa Pebbles cereal.
And now, the battleship Missouri in the news. Of all the actions the battleship Missouri was in, the most memorable was a quiet ceremony. On September 2nd, 1945, General Douglas MacArthur accepted the surrender of Japan's representatives on the deck of the USS Missouri, marking the formal end of World War II. The Missouri, known as Big Mo, had participated in battle operations off Iwo Jima and returned to action in the Pacific during the Korean War. Nearly 30 years ago, Big Mo was retired to a berth at Bremerton, Washington. The battleship, sealed to minimize deterioration, has become a tourist attraction at a naval base at Bremerton across Puget Sound from Seattle. More than 200,000 people visit the Missouri each year, and Bremerton spend in the area. But now the Navy is planning to send it back to sea in New Jersey. Re-outfitting old World War II battleships is far less expensive than building new warships. In exchange for the Missouri, the Navy may give Bremerton a smaller warship, and there's talk of building a waterfront development around it. But the local historical society complains that no ship could take the place of Big Mo. It's scheduled to begin preparations for sea service in about 4 months. I'm Christopher Glenn with the Battleship Missouri in the news.
This is CBS.
Throughout time, people have asked, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Maybe it was a manglore, like Manglore Demon. You can pretend to hatch Manglore Dragon and Manglizard, too, each sold separately in a make-believe egg. You can stretch them, squash them, take them apart. They'll return almost like new to their original forms. So if you want to hatch up some fun, you can crack open a Manglore. The Manglores, Manglore Demon, Manglore Dragon, and Manglizard, each sold separately from Ideal.
Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, will return after these messages.
Every time folks eat super fruity bonkers fruit candy, it makes a big hit. Know why bonkers is so super fruity? It's got a chewy fruity outside with an extra fruity inside. Makes me want to eat it up.
Bonkers. Bonks you out.
Some candy.
Remember, will return after these messages.
Wake up, all you sleepyheads. Colgate gets you out of bed. Now there's the Colgate pump. We've got the Colgate pump. It's a neat new trick, you know. Pump it on your brushing gun. They got the Colgate pump. She's got the Colgate pump. Even moms and dads agree what makes it good is MSP. Just a spot of minty gel protects your teeth as you can tell. We've got the Colgate pump. We love the Colgate pump.
2 great tastes, maximum fluoride protection at your fingertips.
Looky! Rainbow Bright has a new cereal with fruit flavor and bright colors.
Colors? Let's see. New Rainbow Bright brand cereal. Sweet, fruity rainbows of bright color. A yummy part of this complete breakfast. That aisle? Mercow! A glue cloud. No match for Rainbow Bright. Oh, no!
Fruit of colors.
Idiot, we hate color. No Mercow breakfast for us. Fruit flavored, colorful bites. Rainbow Bright.
And now back to Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies will return after these messages.
In the land of Rainbow Bright.
Baby Bright is born. Just arrived on a rainbow morn.
Baby Bright is my beautiful rainbow baby. Pretty pink hair, a tiny pink star. She even drinks a special formula. Rainbow!
Baby Bright is a rainbow just for you to love.
We love you, Baby Bright.
Baby Bright doll comes with this rainbow bottle. She's from the world of Rainbow Bright, new from Mattel.
With the fun shape of honeycomb, you never know what you'll imagine. If you analyze, you can energize what you appetize. Honeycomb! With some inspiration, you get good vibrations and a sweet sensation. Honeycomb! With the right perception, you'll get fuel injection. It's crisp selection. Honeycomb! So when you fantasize, you may be surprised. Sweet, crunchy honeycomb cereal, part of this complete breakfast. More fun than you ever imagined.
Tune for the exciting adventures of Dungeons and Dragons.
How do we get home?
All right after Jim Henson's Muppet Babies.
This whole place is a bad dream.
And now back to Muppet Babies.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something. All right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, please, people. Come on, we're adults here. You know
Just
what?
be adults.
What is the point
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay, next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like, this can't, no, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just, like, soccer moms and shit. Like, that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl, like
that is the best shit fucking
shopping for the dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with the people.
Shout out to Cherry for just being easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Woo! My goodness, folks. Oh my god. Hey, dude. Happy Friday, y'all. I hope everybody's doing well. Clubber's doing good. You can see he's in a good mood. Hey, Clubber. Hey, baby boy. You want to go play? Huh? Let Daddy do a show? Huh, buddy, please? That would be great. I would love that. Thank you. Nope. Okay. Off. Good boy. Good boy. So folks, I was going to just do kind of a fuck around stream a little bit. I was going to just go over a couple of Coffin Doffer's most recent tweets. And you know, not really, I wasn't planning on this one being a very long stream. But I just got word and just got the apparently it's a 300-page document, which is, yeah, it's a 300-page document, and it is the Commonwealth's opposition to defendant's motion for sanctions and for disqualification for Norfolk County District Attorney. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And Paul Cristoforo, and thank you, Paul, for bringing that to my attention too. Because and Paul messaged me and he's like, yo, get 2 pots of coffee made, bro. Like, so I'm definitely gonna be giving it a we're gonna definitely go over it. It might take a few parts, but we're definitely gonna go over it and discuss it. Now, a couple of little petty things that I want to go over real quick. Well, just one. I came into this community, this Justice for John O'Keefe and Free Karen Reed community, and I did so more or less recently. It's been a few months, and I'm really grateful that I did. And I want to be very clear about that. I'm really grateful that I did. It's been a while since I talked about a case that I had so many questions about and that I was so passionate about. Now, I've never had this many questions when it came to a case. Never once. I've been on YouTube talking about crime cases for about 5 years now. And give or take. And I've never come across a case like this. I've always presumed, at least publicly, I've always presumed the innocence of someone who is named a suspect publicly, and especially those who haven't been named suspects at all. I've always taken pride in my ability to presume innocence before guilt. I've always said that I'd rather be wrong about someone's innocence than wrong about their guilt, if I'm going to call it that way. I've always felt that way because I consider myself to be a moral person. You know, at least as far as the average bear goes. You know, I consider myself to be a decent-hearted person. You know, of course, you know, I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And a couple of things I'm going to discuss real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I want to make sure that Clever's not running around Sorry about that, folks. So now, one of the benefits, because there have been a lot of benefits to covering this case, mostly was just being exposed to and embraced by this community. I never saw that coming. It was merely a case that I was interested in. I had questions about. I wanted to explore. I had no idea that there were so many people that were so passionate about getting to the truth in regards to the John O'Keefe, Karen Reed case. That is incredibly inspiring to me, as I tell you guys all the time. But another one of those benefits is that I left another community behind for the most part. I'll still show up to a chat here and there to some creators who I still like. There's a lot of those people that I don't have any issue with personally. I just felt like the environment overall was too toxic for me. And I've contributed to that toxicity. I don't want to be part of that toxicity. I don't want to contribute to that toxicity either. So I was very grateful, and I still am. Clever, please come on, buddy. I was very grateful, and I still am, as far as the lack of stress that I felt since I started talking about this case. Talking about a crime case should not be so stressful. The only things that should stress you out about it is the facts or lack thereof of the case, but not the interactions that you have with people. See, that is why that community that I've kind of turned my back on for the most part, that I feel glad that I have, is because most of it's never about the crime case anymore. It always becomes about the beef between people in chat, creators. It's too much. And it's been really nice to not really deal with that. And it does happen. And I'm seeing a lot of it on Twitter. And once in a while, I'll throw my 2 cents in on Twitter too, just like anybody else. But I don't have any ill feelings towards somebody. I'm not getting into a long-winded back and forth war with someone on social media. I'm just not doing that now. And I love not doing that. I'm happy not doing it. And I just want to say something here. And if you've heard things, okay, I would like you to keep the name to yourself. Do not post it in chat, okay? Because I'm not here to start shit with anybody at all. But I'm also the kind of person that I want to be sure that you know at least where I stand on scenarios such as. And so it's been brought to my attention that there's another creator who, for some reason, I don't know what the deal is, that they have been behind the scenes saying things to the effect that the rumors that some of these haters on Twitter who do doxing, that those rumors are true, and that, you know, they're so disappointed that they found this out about me, and that for some reason they are trying to they are upset about the fact that I am getting as much support here by the views that I've been getting from covering this case. And if that is the case, you know, that's the thing is we're all entitled to our feelings and to our opinions. But I've got to say something here, you know, because it's somebody who supposedly is very nice to me, and publicly very kind, addressing me. And no, it's not Turtle Boy, so don't. But and for some reason they have these harbored feelings about me behind the scenes that they just can't keep to themselves, and they have to vent out to other people behind the scenes. And this person, if they see this, will know exactly who I'm talking about, and so I will address them directly. And this goes for anybody, honestly. I'm here, and I like everyone that I've met in this community. If I don't, that person will know it. That's something that you can always count on from me. That person will always know it. But here's the thing, is when I have that problem with someone and they know it, nothing changes this one simple fact that it's my problem. So whoever has these issues, okay, I'm not sitting here saying, well, say it to my face, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that, because how anyone else feels or thinks about me, what anyone else thinks about me, how they feel about me is none of my business. How I feel about others is none of their business. I just provide them the courtesy of letting them know, so that there's no misunderstandings between us. I'm that type of person. I'm that type of person in person. I'm that type of person on social media. I'm that type of person on this channel. So I want to be very clear to this person and whoever else feels this way. Your problem with me is exactly that. Your problem. It's not mine. It's nobody else's. And you're definitely the problem if you're going around obligating other people to keep secrets because you feel the need to say these things because you feel so strongly and say these things but you have to do them in secret. That says everything that I need to know about you. So I don't have a problem. I just want to be clear about that. I don't have a problem. Again, even those people who do that, I find positive reasons to associate with them. I like them. I figure these are just simple character flaws that I refuse to totally judge someone on. If I see them doing other good things that I congratulate them for as much as I can, things that I push for them to succeed at as much as I can. See, because I here's an example. Today, I talked to a guy. I felt really guilty. I hadn't talked to this guy in a while. He's one of my dearest friends from back in South Florida. And he texted me, and we hadn't texted in a minute, and we definitely hadn't talked in even longer. And, you know, he's a couple of years younger than me, not by much, a couple of years younger than me. But this guy is a badass in the sense that when he puts his mind to something, he gets it done. And he struggles with depression, anxiety, and he gets in his own way sometimes, but he still always manages to stay on his feet and do it on his own, from his own, it's his own fire inside that keeps him going. Depends on nobody else for anything. He blames nobody else for his problems. Somebody who I absolutely respect and I have respected for years. And we're very much alike in a lot of ways. But that aspect, that trait of his is something that I don't have. That's something that I understand about myself. It's something that I try to do better at, but I understand this about myself. I don't have the work ethic that this guy does. I don't have the drive and stubborn mindset of getting on a path, sticking to it, and bowling everyone else out of your way to do it. And I respect the hell out of him for it. And the guy today sends me some pictures and a short video of a new property that he's leasing for his latest tattoo shop. And it's funny because he showed me the last place, but something happened, a zoning thing happened, and he couldn't get the shop. And he was out a shit ton of money. He even got a lawyer. It was a big mess. And this discouraged him. But what this guy did was get up and go out and I swear I found this out not even an hour before I started this live stream. It just so happens that this is one of these things that I find that I find in life that I make sure to be grateful for. These little gifts that life gives you is this example to be able to give. And it was given to me not even an hour before I went live. And I'm grateful that I have this story now to be able to give you as an example is what I'm talking about here. Because the guy, he sends me pictures and he sends me a short video of this property that he has leased and for a tattoo shop. And it was empty and it had some of the most beautiful potential I've ever seen for a tattoo shop. I've worked in a few myself, and I've worked in really nice ones. And I'm telling you, this was something that, I mean, for the price that he got it, it had to have been kismet, God, whatever you think and you believe, the universe handing it to you. I mean, to me, that's a beautiful, amazing thing. And at no point did I feel spiteful. Did I feel envious? Did I feel jealous? At no point did I experience any feeling other than thrill that the first time I got to talk to this dude in months, because both of us were just too busy. And whenever we thought about it, something was going on to where we couldn't make a phone call right then and there. And the first time I talked to this guy in months is right before I'm going to address this issue. And this is just quick. I realize I sound like I'm ranting a little bit. But the point being is that I love that I had that such a recent example, yet for some reason in this world where we can all just do our own thing and be grateful for however many people watch you, however many people hit the like, be grateful for the $1 or $100 that somebody sends you. Be grateful for every single one equally. To me, there's no failure in that. Can't be done. The mindset for me, I can't. I can't feel envious. If I am only focused on being grateful for what this channel provides me, I can't lose. And that's why I don't have problems with other creators, especially in this particular community. That's why I made sure that whatever problems I had with other creators, I ejected myself from scenarios to where I would have to interact with them. Because if we can't get along, we can't get along. That's perfectly cool. That's life. Life rolls, man. It's just how it is. And then you just move on and find an environment that makes you happy. Surround yourself, create an environment that makes you happy. And since I have the ability to do this, and I cannot relate to that. So this person, if you're watching, no need to say your name, and anybody else who feels the way that I just described, well, again, that's your problem. I don't have those problems. I think everybody who's doing whatever they're doing and however it happens, and if they have 100 times more views than I do, good for them. They must be doing something right. I am more than happy for them. So my advice to whoever feels this way, you're just going to be the one that ends up with egg on your face. And if you're so concerned about you, well, then it's only hurting you to be bitter, envious, pissy. You know, it only hurts you. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear, because I'm not going to get into a feud with other creators. I'm just not going to do that. That's not going to happen in this community for me. Now, just the other day, well, about a week or two ago, I don't even know when it was, the defense for Karen Reed, which would be Yannetti and Jackson, filed for a disqualification of I'll read exactly what it is. The Commonwealth's opposition, the defendant's motion for sanctions and for disqualification of the Norfolk County District Attorney. So not the disqualification of Lolly, but the disqualification of Michael Morrissey and his entire office. No, Clever, go lay down, buddy. Do not get into that. Thank you. Go lay down. So this was not, we assumed this was going to get addressed yesterday at Karen Reed's hearing. We thought it was going to get postponed, but Aunt Bev seems to just be wanting to move forward with this. So I don't really know. I don't know what the defense's strategy necessarily is, but I don't think they necessarily need one. I think that the only short-term strategy that they have is knowing that the district attorney's office is under investigation, federal investigation, and that they are trying to give them time to figure out what's going on. Now, it's was released yesterday that the U.S. Attorney's Office will be releasing their findings, but there's supposed to be, I guess, a gag order on both the prosecution and the defense. So we'll know. Sleuthy posted something on Twitter that explained it really, really well. Dude, what are you eating right now, bro? Can you all hear him? Okay. So just want to see real quick. if I can see it, but yeah. I mean, well, Sleuthy explained it really well. I mean, it's going to be redacted to a certain point. They're only going to. I think they're only going to review certain parts of it, but I don't know exactly what they're going to focus on. But like I said, Sleuthy worded it a lot better than I could. But I just don't see her post. I was hoping I could find it, but yeah. And maybe it was in my notifications. I don't know. Well, okay. All right. Found it. Sorry. Thank you guys for waiting. The protective order will include the documents themselves, but the information contained within them can be laid out, quoted, etc., in motions, pleadings, and oral arguments. So, what that sounds like it means to me is that it's going to be sealed, but they'll be able to quote it. So the information in it is going to be sealed to the public, but they can explain the details. They can explain the contents of their findings in filings. So let's say, for instance, if the defense is planning on filing a motion to dismiss Karen Reed's case altogether, based on a federal investigation into corruption in Michael Morrissey's office, they can put that in the filings, and those filings do become public. So they can put those in the filings. So if we were to see these, it would be if the defense or the prosecution were to put the details in a filing that they're going in a motion that they're going to file. So I'm pretty sure that that's, I mean, or in oral arguments as well. I guess like whenever we see like Jackson or Yannetti standing up there and presenting their case, which I I have no doubt that that's exactly what they're planning to do. They seem to be really riding on this federal investigation, really counting on it somehow to reinforce their defense. And obviously, why not? So I'm fascinated to see where this is going to go, because I mean, it seems like Aunt Bev actually wants this case to move forward to trial. It seems, I mean, it's how it's coming off. I mean, it's absolutely how it's coming off. Now, let me go ahead and move on to this, because we're going to be here a minute. And I cannot see chat, guys. Cherry's in the chat. So Cherry will do her best to address these, some of your comments. But Yeah, 300 pages of what? I have no idea what to expect of this. I have no fucking idea what to expect of this. This is fascinating to me. I mean, they better, you know what I mean? Think about it. I mean, if they're going to write an opposition to being disqualified from this murder case of a Boston police officer, you know what I mean? And they don't want to come off like they're not doing their due diligence. They better write something longer than the defense's motion to disqualify them. They better bring the noise because they're the prosecution. They haven't done shit to present their case. The defense has brought everything to the table. It's insane. They haven't brought almost anything on Karen Read to the table. The prosecution hasn't. And yet the defense has already accused Proctor, has already accused Jennifer McCabe. I mean, it's pretty fascinating when you think about it. There we go. So now comes the Commonwealth in the above captioned matter and submits the following opposition to the defendant's claims that her indictments for second-degree murder in violation of blah, 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 manslaughter while operating under the influence in violation and leaving the scene of personal injury, death in violation should be dismissed because of a statement made by Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey approximately 6 months ago and purported delayed disclosure about an investigation being conducted by the U.S. Attorney's Office. The defendant's claims are misleading and disingenuous, and as they are premised upon the defendant's misrepresentations and actions knowingly made to deceive this court and undermine the integrity of the judicial proceedings. Over the past 2 years, evidence sought by and presented to the Commonwealth has not shown any credible evidence that another individual is responsible for John O'Keefe's death. What began as Attorney Yannetti representing to the Stoughton District Court in February 2022 that the defendant lacked any criminal intent in a motor vehicle accident has spiraled into a national conspiracy theory premised upon the defendant's variety of flawed, unfounded, and sensationalized claims. However, truth is not dictated by the loudest voice. Wow. Okay, man. Oh, I knew I was going to enjoy reading this. Now, this is District Attorney Michael Morrissey's August 25th, 2023 recorded statement. In response to an extraordinary degree of relentless harassment and intimidation of nearly every witness associated with this case, which included a July 26, 2023 rolling rally of nearly 100 people traveling to witnesses' homes and calling them murderers. On August 25th, 2023, District Attorney Morrissey released a recorded statement that cautioned against the improper and lawful harassment of witnesses. A search warrant affidavit of Massachusetts State Police Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully for the seizure of the defendant's mobile devices. District Attorney Morrissey's statement fell well within Massachusetts rules of professional conduct that permits an attorney to make a warning of danger concerning the behavior of a press involved. Now, there is reason to believe that there exists the likelihood of substantial harm to an individual or to the public interest, and Massachusetts professional conduct, blah, 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 statements that are necessary to inform the public of the nature and extent of the prosecutor's actions and that serve a legitimate law enforcement purpose. District Attorney Morrissey's statement was also an appropriate response under the Massachusetts professional conduct, blah, 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 to rebuke the prejudicial effects of the defendant's and her counsel's misconduct. Okay, so wait a second. It was an appropriate response to rebuke the prejudicial effects of the defendant's and her counsel's misconduct. Okay. So how is lying about the Procter and McCabe Association, how is lying about that an appropriate response? And what misconduct? What misconduct? Because there was no misconduct here. There wasn't even an accusation of misconduct yet by Yannetti or Jackson or Karen Reed. Not until they went and seized Karen Reed's phones. And that was the prosecutor in Turtle Boy's case. That wasn't even Lolly. That was Mello. So I don't understand. I don't understand where they got this misconduct from. What misconduct? I mean, are they trying to imply that they're like what Court TV was trying to imply at that one point, trying to say that Karen Reed was behind all of the protesting? Now, of course, they're going to want to prove that Karen Reed and Turtle Boy colluded, right? That's what they're going to go for. I mean, there's no, it's not a coincidence that Turtle Boy's in jail, and then while he's in jail, the special prosecutor in his case went after Karen Reed's phones. It's not a coincidence. They want to use this to fry a bigger fish. That bigger fish being Karen Reed. It's not about Turtle Boy. It's about trying to prove that Yali and that Yannetti and Jackson engaged in misconduct by colluding with Turtle Boy in order to, I guess, tamper with the jury pool that doesn't exist yet. So, yeah, I'm just not buying, you know what I mean? Like, it's projection. If they're calling out corruption, I mean, of course they're going to go, no, they're the dirty ones. That's the criminal. That's the one that's under the arrest. We're the cops. We're the DA. We're the cops. What do you mean? You got to look at the criminal. There's obvious misconduct coming. I mean, somebody is dirty enough who's going to represent somebody like Jeffrey, Jeffrey Weinstein, somebody that dirty, or Harvey Weinstein, excuse me. Of course, they're going to do gross, underhanded shit, man. Come on. They're defending a cop killer, right? But I mean, the problem is that the prosecution hasn't done shit to defend their position. That's what's really funny about this whole thing. When you look at all of the last 2 years, Clubber, please stop that, buddy. Please. When you look at the past 2 years, it seems like the defense are the ones who are presenting a case. And the prosecution are playing keep away and deflecting from what the defense is bringing to the table. But the prosecution isn't bringing anything to the table. The prosecution is stalling on sharing discovery with the defense. So, how is there misconduct coming from the defense? It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I just word it, I guess it must be true. I actually went to court against somebody who actually thought this. Well, if I word it this way, like this person would actually take emails and then write notes next to a line in the email saying, this is Will saying this and this and this. And it's like, no, like read it. It says that's not what it says. And you just put a note right next to it saying that it says something else. And you just expect that to just whoosh, you make that happen magically. And that's what they're doing here. They're basically just sitting there going, yeah, the misconduct coming from the defense. What misconduct? What misconduct? Because even if they talk to Turtle Boy, they have every right. Turtle Boy is an independent journalist. They have no control over what Turtle Boy is doing. You can't prove that they had control over what Turtle Boy was doing. Clubber, please, dude. Clubber, come on, buddy. Yeah, like he's digging into the floor, bro. He's literally like just ripping up the trying to rip up the floor. Actually, no, there's paneling on the walls and he's chewing at the paneling, which is just fucking great. It's lucky that we don't really give a shit about how it looks down here. Yeah, it's the noise that he's making that's annoying me. I don't give a shit that he's actually doing it, honestly. It's the noise that he's making. Yeah, that's crazy to me that they're sitting there saying the misconduct coming from the defense. It's insane. Goes on to say here, District Attorney Morrissey's statement was also okay. I already read that. A lawyer may make a statement that a reasonable lawyer would believe is required to protect the client from the substantial, undue, prejudicial effect of recent publicity not initiated by the lawyer or the lawyer's client. A statement made pursuant to this paragraph shall be limited to such information as is necessary to mitigate the recent adverse publicity. District Attorney Morrissey narrowly, oh my God, bro. Clubber. Dude, come on, buddy. No. You got to move. Come on. Okay. I'm trying to like give him something else to chew on. No, don't go back there, dude. Don't go back there. Come on, bro. Dude. What did I just say? What did I just say? No. Go lie down. Do not go back there chewing on that. Go lie down. So am I gonna, you know what? I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Okay. I think I may have temporarily solved the issue. All right. A statement made pursuant to this paragraph shall be limited to such information as is necessary to mitigate the recent adverse publicity. District Attorney Morrissey narrowly tailored his statement towards the harassment of witnesses and included a synopsis of the Commonwealth's case and evidence, consistent with what had been publicly filed and argued in the courtroom. Further, District Attorney Morrissey's statement was made in response to an August 22nd, 2023 ABC News broadcast where Attorney Jackson, Attorney Yannetti, and the defendant sat down for an interview with ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman. During this 9-minute and 37-second segment, videos of the Karen Reed protests were shown, photographs of witnesses displayed, and the defendant made numerous comments about the evidence and her relationships. When asked what the defense believes to have occurred, Attorney Jackson passionately asserted pieces of taillight evidence were planted after the fact, and that the victim walked into the house. I think he was confronted, was likely brought down to the basement. I think that confrontation got physical, and he was beaten to a point of unconsciousness. See video beginning at 7:50. Attorney Jackson then commented about his impressions of the victim's injuries, including a claim that the victim had defensive wound bruises on the backs of his hands. Attorney Jackson continued on to ultimately declare without an indica of proof and substantial evidence to the contrary. Well, that's the thing is, now let's break that down. Let's break that down for a second. When asked what the defense believes has occurred, Attorney Jackson passionately asserted pieces of taillight evidence were planted after the fact, and that the victim walked into the house. I think he was confronted, was likely brought down to the basement. I think the confrontation got physical, and he was beaten to a point of unconsciousness. Okay, now notice his language here. Alan Jackson's language here is basically, I think. There's a few I thinks in there. And the man is entitled to his opinion, A. B, they're saying that it's misconduct because he's making these claims, and he's making the claim of defensive wound bruises on the back of his hands. That's a fact. John O'Keefe had defensive wound bruises on the back of his hands. That's clearly what that was. Now, it's his opinion that they were defensive wounds, but there were definitely bruises on the back of his hands. And they're saying to ultimately declare without an indica of proof and substantial evidence to the contrary. The thing is, it's not on them to prove anything. Nothing of what they're doing is considered unethical. I mean, if you have facts to back up your theories, doesn't mean that you have to be right. It doesn't mean that you are going to turn out to be right. But if you have enough facts to where your theories are valid enough to ponder, to exist, if you have enough facts to do that, well, then that's all you're doing is you're expressing theory. That's it. This is what we think happened. This is what we believe happened. Our client is innocent. Why do you think your client is innocent? Well, this is what we think happened. I mean, that sounds very standard to me. That in a very high-profile case such as this, the things that we have been made privy to, the documents that we have all been made privy to, dictate that this investigation has been fucked from the word jump. It's been no good. Something definitely stinks. So, and these people, like, this is what's I'd understand if this was just some sort of culty, crazy conspiracy theorist bullshit. Okay, I'd understand. I'd understand. Okay, well, there's a whole shit ton of people. This got popular and it got blown out of proportion because there's so many fucking people talking about this. But here's the thing. There are so many people talking about it, but the minority amount, the minority of people talking about it are people who are not Boston locals or Massachusetts locals. That's the minority. I'm part of the minority, not living in Massachusetts. The majority of the people who, I mean, those are locals crowding outside of that courthouse saying free Karen Reed, cheering for her, chanting free Karen Reed. Those are all locals. What that tells me is that those people have skin in the game. They're not just going to take somebody's word for it. This is where they nest and live. They're not going to just take Turtle Boy's word for shit. That's not how fucking people do who hold down jobs and hold down households. They see something stinks in their town, and that's why they are motivated and saying the things that they're saying. So that tells me that there's enough for all of those local people to look into this case, see something seriously wrong, and want to hold these people responsible to a higher standard. The people responsible, meaning the people who are prosecuting this case, meaning the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, meaning the Canton Select Board. These people want to see these things do better. Those people have skin in the game. That's what tells me that this is not hype. This is not culty. It's not hype. These are people pissed off about something that's going on where they live, and they can't do anything about it except speak up. And it's happening in their face because the people that they elected are doing it. And everything is hanging. All of these local people right now are hanging on what's going to happen with this federal investigation. And I don't think we should do that. Luna's mom, 24, member for 1 month. Thank you, Will. I love you. Coffin offer smells like fish. Yeah. I'm gonna go over the coffin offer stuff actually pretty soon. I mean, we're gonna hang out a while, so you know. I mean, I've only been on for an hour. So we'll be discussing this stuff. And I'm gonna go over it in parts, man. Like I'll just go live again tomorrow. Because I'm not going over 300 pages of this shit tonight. There's no fucking way. I mean, why can't the defense, if the defense feels that their client is being prosecuted under corrupt circumstances, why shouldn't they be public about it? It would be stupid not to. Puts their client in danger. Their insurance is to go public with the information that they have, to be as loud with it as possible. We're talking about dirty cops who they suspect murdered a fellow police officer, covered it up, and framed his girlfriend for it. Who knows what people like that are capable of? I don't know. But that's what they're accusing them of. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in that house. I believe John went in that house based on a few things. I believe John went in that house. And based on those things, the more I hear people try to dispute that he went into the house, it concerns me. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. I mean, none of these people ever seem prepared either, you know? Well said, Pearl. Pearl's awesome, man. Pearl says it's standard to see some locals in any true crime discussion, but the percentage breakdown of locals to outsiders is unprecedented in this case. I think locals feel there is police corruption issue. That's the point. They're not. These people live there. They're not going to just take some loud dude's word for it, bro. They're going to look at the facts. They're going to look at the evidence themselves. The majority of people are anyway. Dude, you look at the people who, like, you'll see, like, Tom will be outside the courthouse for Turtle Boy, and these women will come out because they just went and attended. They understood everything. They understood everything about the case. You know what I mean? Like, so these aren't just, Piggly Wiggly, these aren't just yokels, man. These are intelligent people, again, holding down jobs and homes, households, man. Like, they smell something's wrong. They see something's wrong. I mean, and the irony of it is, it's all in the Commonwealth's case. Everything that they see that's wrong is based on the Commonwealth's investigations. The Massachusetts State Trooper investigations. It's it all comes from their own documentation. And these people are looking at this going, wait a second, what? Right, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just it's got to be so frustrating. I can only imagine. That's why I love and respect you guys so much, man. It's like, I can only imagine seeing my hometown talked about like that, like on a platform like Court TV, and not being like, yo, who the fuck is this asshole? What? And like, it's so offensive because it's questioning your integrity when it's actually your integrity that's causing you to do what you're doing, which is go out there and buy the materials to make signs, put your heart and souls into a sign, and then go out there and support Karen Reed outside of the courthouse because of an investigation conducted by the Commonwealth. It's because of them. And yes, Turtle Boy provided a lot of this information. That's why he has the following that he has. But it's not just because they just like the fact that he fucking cusses and has rap battles. That's not why. It's because of the information. It's because of the work that he put into in obtaining the information and presenting it to the public. And that's why he is given the recognition that he's given. That's why people like him. It has nothing to do with you know, his personality. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that that sounded bad. I'm saying like, you know, yeah, he's a fun guy and he's funny and entertaining. Yeah, I enjoy watching him, but that's not, you know, what has caused him to get the support that he has gotten locally in Massachusetts. And the fact that he's sitting in jail right now for doing it is, it's not something to shame him for. And that's not his fault. That's not our fault. That's the prosecution's fault. That's the district attorney's fault. The district attorney has made it. He's the one that pulled the strings to get Turtle Boy put in jail, and you martyred him. You martyred him. The guy was sitting there going, I predict that they're going to try to put me in jail. And when they do, I'm just going to get louder. And then the idea of him going to jail for what he was doing only got him more support. And then what did you do? Oh, well, then let's lock him up. Not an intelligent strategy. Not an intelligent strategy. I mean, it's just funny to me that they thought that would, I mean, come on. How did you not see that coming? You're sitting there, you're telling me you're listening to the guy. Right. I feel bad he's sitting in jail too, Susan M. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, I hate that he's sitting in jail. But the thing is like, I got so much respect for him for doing it. You know? Like, it doesn't matter what anybody fucking feels about him. The bottom line is, if you are running your mouth talking about it, guess what? He is literally, the irony of all that is that he's literally sitting in jail right now to protect your right to be able to run your fucking mouth about it. To be able to fucking blast it all over Twitter, whatever your fucking insane opinions are. You are he's sitting in jail for your right to do that. He could fucking plead guilty and walk right the fuck out right now. I mean, so it's fascinating that this is happening in this case, that the district attorney is so brazen that they're going to lock up this guy who has all this support. And his support has done nothing but grow since he's been locked up. And guess what? Now he's got the support of everybody who's locked up with him. I mean, what were you thinking? What was your strategy? Yeah, and I agree. And I wish he was with his children right now. I really do. I wish he didn't have to do this. But that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why I have so much respect for him being in jail right now, is because I feel for him in that department. Like, that fucking sucks. And the fact that he could just walk out at any given moment, and he's not, is because in his mind, and I don't want to speak for him, but in his mind, I believe that he is of the feeling and of the belief that if he doesn't do this, whatever he does here, it teaches his children something. And he probably sees this as probably sees this as an opportunity to teach them something very important. And that's just speculation as to why someone would be doing what they're doing. And I, in my opinion, that is absolutely commendable. In my opinion, I don't think it's selfish. I think it's absolutely commendable. If you truly believe, and I believe Turtle Boy truly believes with his heart that he is doing the right thing for the right reasons, then that is fighting for that is one of the best examples you can set for your children. Arguably, So I can't fault Turtle Boy for doing what he's doing. I can't do anything other than respect him for doing what he's doing. All right, I'm going to go over this a little bit more, and then we'll go over the Coffindoffer stuff. All right. It goes on to quote Jackson, I think here. It says, "This was a cover-up. John was murdered inside that house. His body was placed outside." The defendant's motion to disqualify and sanction the Norfolk District Attorney's Office conveniently misrepresents this court's July 31st, 2023 ruling that reprimanded only the defense team, in particular Attorney Jackson, for making unethical and inflammatory comments about the Commonwealth and witnesses that arguably crossed the line of permissibility under Rule 3.6 C Exhibit D, Memorandum of Decision and Order on Commonwealth's motion to prohibit prejudicial extrajudicial statements of counsel in compliance with Massachusetts rules of professional misconduct. The court stated that Attorney Jackson's inflammatory statements about the Commonwealth and the witnesses appear to have fueled much of the publicity in this case. Of course it did. That's because he brought receipts. And the defense counsel did not have the carte blanche to speak with the media. And going forward, defense counsel should ensure that their statements are limited in conformity with the rules. This court held at one time there was not a substantial likelihood that defense counsel statements would materially prejudice the proceedings, and denied the Commonwealth's motion without prejudice. Contrary to that warning, the defendant and the counsel have continued to give numerous interviews with local and national media outlets where they have unfounded and inflammatory statements about witnesses' character and reputation. Repeatedly describe the Commonwealth and its investigators as corrupt. And on September 15th, 2023, Attorney Jackson made a comment to the media in response to District Attorney Morrissey's recorded statement where he seemingly attacked the intelligence of District Attorney Morrissey by stating, "So listen up, sir, and I'll speak slowly so you understand." Michael Morrissey, we ain't got no quit. Yeah, that's that deserves a little here. That's so funny. The defendant's continued attempts to materially prejudice the judicial proceedings and to try the case in the media is unprecedented, further supported by the fact that on September 17th, 2023, the defendant traveled with Attorney Jackson, Attorney Little, and a woman believed to be a television news reporter to the victim's home in violation of her conditions of release, as well as other places of interest in Canton. When balanced by the amount of public and prejudicial statements made by the defendant and her counsel, the suggestion that District Attorney Morrissey's statements from over 6 months ago threatens her right to a fair trial is untenable. When prejudicial statements have been publicly made by others, responsive statements may have the salutary effect of lessening any resulting adverse impact on the adjudicative Oh my God, I know that word too. I don't know why I'm having trouble with it. I'm really stoned. If you haven't noticed, like I really fat gummy way earlier. Adjudicative. I guess it's adjudicative proceeding. Further, the defendant's motion is premised upon case law that governs the breadth of closing argument, a distinction the Commonwealth recognizes as a more stringent standard, not applicable to a narrowly tailored statement made months prior to trial. Disqualification of counsel or his office is not measured to be taken lightly in considering whether to disqualify counsel or the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. A judge must closely scrutinize the facts before him or her can determine whether a lawyer's continued participation as counsel taints the legal system. Okay. Is not, I mean, it's not a measure to be taken lightly. But if the defense expects Aunt Bev to just do that, I mean, if the defense thinks that Aunt Bev is just going to be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck the district attorney's office. You know what I mean? It's that's not going to happen unless like they bring some serious shit, right? And I think that's why they're waiting so much for and relying so much for the report from the U.S. Attorney's Office, from Josh Levy, because if they're trying to disqualify, this is the motion, they're trying to disqualify the Commonwealth, they're trying to disqualify the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, the entire District Attorney's Office, not just Lolly, but the entire District Attorney's Office, right? And they're under federal investigation by the Office of Josh Levy, U.S. Attorney. So, I mean, the defense is trying to stall to make sure that they get enough to prepare a case when, after this opposition is reviewed, they could say, hey, this is why you need to disqualify them, because the federal investigation into the district attorney's office has these particular findings, this, and this. So now it's just the waiting game, right? Defend Aunt Bev. Not defund, but defend. Defund, okay. Defund and defend, whatever. Absolutely fascinating. Clubber finally passed the fuck out, dude. I love it, dude. He's just laying over there in the corner, just being all sweet. He sleeps all through the night, man. Oh, right on, man. Thank you, Hayden Kane. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, I'm quite positive that they are they are really counting for this disqualification to go through. They're really counting on the details of this federal investigation. That's where I'm at now. Just kind of thinking out loud. That's where I'm at right now. That's why, and I find it interesting that Aunt Bev will not extend that date. Yannetti was clear. He was like, well, the 26th is a week from Monday. Like, well, I would ask you, and there was a joint order requesting that these things get pushed back. Everybody was in agreement for it. Why did Aunt Bev not approve it? I mean, when do you ever see that really happen? Where there's a joint motion, both the prosecution and the defense are like in agreement here. We're filing this motion together to change, to move these dates forward. And then the judge doesn't do it. And so the 26th is going to be the disqualification. She said that. She's like, that's it. And he's like, well, that's a week from Monday. I need more time to prepare. And they're waiting to find out what's going on with the U.S. Attorney's Office and what's going on with their investigation. Now, once that happens, that's the thing, is it all hangs in what do they have? You know what I mean? What if it's a big fat fucking nothing burger? Right? Think about that for a second. What's everyone going to do? And this is a serious question. What's everyone going to do if this federal investigation turns up nothing, squat? What's everyone going to do? I mean, I could tell you what everyone's going to do, but it was more of a exaggerated question. Because what everyone's really going to do is just wait, because there's going to be a trial. That just means there's going to be a trial. That's it. But the rumors circulating is that there's evidence that the U.S. Attorney's Office has no intention of letting this case move forward. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But and I really hope it doesn't go to trial. I really hope. But the ugliness that's going to take place on Twitter, if there's nothing to the federal investigation, I mean, that's going to be too much. See, a trial, I see why you say that, but I gotta tell you, man, like, this is where we gotta, like, remember that this is real fucking life. Like, if we want, if we truly, like, empathize with Karen Reed and feel that she's innocent, then we don't want this to go to trial. You know, we want this to just be over for her tomorrow, and there's going to be steps taken to get justice for John O'Keefe and arrests made. So that's the best that we can hope. You know, because a trial it's like, why are they even doing it? Like the case that the prosecution has is so riddled with doubt. I mean, it is the back wall at a gun range of doubt instead of bullet holes. I mean, it's insane. So I don't see how the prosecution even expects to win this case. There's no fucking way you can get 12 people from that town to sit on that jury, listen to the facts, and say that she's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There's just no way. I have too much doubt. I already create doubt in my mind. Like I said, when I follow cases, I try to put myself in a position, if I imagine like an imaginary position of being a juror, right? So I'm thinking, if I'm on the jury, what is evidence to me? And I'm trying to find doubt. I'm trying to create doubt in my mind, because this person is on trial for their life. Make no mistake about that. They are on trial for their life. Karen Reed is fighting for her life right now. That is a fact. That's not an understatement or an overstatement. Karen Reed is fighting for her life. So oh, is there a troll in the chat? Yeah, I there's if I'm thinking of myself as a juror, you know, there have been other cases. So like I'm still creating doubt in my mind. I remember I did that with Letitia Stout, people. I don't know how familiar any of you are with the Gannon Stout case. Gannon Stout was an 11-year-old boy who was murdered by his stepmother, Letitia, and in the most brutal way that you can think of, short of being sexually assaulted. But she was a living nightmare, this woman. And I still gave her the benefit of the doubt before they actually arrested her, because everyone was like, this woman is guilty, because they didn't like her. They didn't like how she was behaving. And that was fair, you know, because she was making it about her. This is usually this is a common sign. And when you're looking at somebody being interviewed in a crime, when somebody goes missing, the loved one who is making it about themselves is somebody who the public is going to go, you know, and a good portion of the time they turn out to be right. So, but I don't believe in that. I just don't. I don't like doing that, because I've seen people be wrong about this too many times, and you can't unring that bell. You know, you just can't.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Suzanne, thank you so much. Commonwealth says no one saw John enter the house. No one states that they saw him in the house. They use the same exact words every time. Geofence will tell all. Right. They will. And thank you again, Suzanne. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is, I mean, there's too much doubt. Like, the defense is going to have that shit. The defense is going to have that advantage. They're going to have the entire advantage over the whole case. First of all, both Jackson and Yannetti are 100 times more charismatic than anybody on that prosecuting team. So they're going to captivate. They are high-profile defense attorneys. This is what they do. They're going to captivate that jury. What's up, Dietz? Dietz says, I always try to pretend I'm a juror. We hear all these things now, but come trial, we have to resort to zero info. The only things the jury will take into consideration is what is presented there. Right. Right. Well, again, the thing is we don't really know. We don't really know what the prosecution has. I mean, the problem is that the prosecution has obtained too much evidence in a nefarious way. Their credibility as investigators are fucked. Proctor's credibility as an investigator, having a personal relationship with the McCabe family, is fucked. Yeah, I speak typo, Dietz. I got you. And the devil is in the details. That's a good point. That's absolutely true. But the thing is like there's so much to destroy the credibility as far as the integrity of this investigation. The integrity of the investigation is long gone out the window and buried in the yard. It's gone. That's enough to get an acquittal. I mean, it's crazy to me that the prosecution wants to move forward with prosecuting this case. It's crazy to me that they want to do that. It hasn't made sense to me from the beginning. And now, I mean, they're just setting themselves up to get just like Harlem Globetrotted all over the courtroom. Like that's how am I supposed to expect anything less than that from this trial? This trial is going to be a Harlem Globetrotter game with Jackson and Yannetti. Meadowlark Lemon, Yannetti, just like putting the ball between his legs and whoop, oh, you know, like just messing with the prosecution. And it's not even the defense having to do it. The prosecution did this to themselves via the investigation conducted into this officer's death. It's right. Lots of witnesses saying they do not recall. Oh, Curly of the Globe. Okay. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Like, I won't. The most I'll do if I see a celebrity that, like if I saw, I don't know, fucking, like one time I saw Kevin James at a bar. I didn't say shit to him. I wasn't a fan of King of Queens. You know what I mean? But like, if I meet like a celebrity, I not even a celebrity, but somebody who, I really like what they've done. You know, like I wouldn't call, Brent Hine from Mastodon a celebrity, but when I saw him, I didn't want to bother him, but I wanted, I know that it's nice when somebody says that they appreciate what you do, So, and I left it at that. I was just shook his hand. I was like, "Hey, thanks for the music, man. It's really great. Appreciate it." And he was like, "Hey, thank you, man." And that was it. I didn't want a selfie or, the moment was cool, man. I got to say thank you, So I'm the same way when it comes to like celebrities and shit like that. It's like, it does not impress me that a lot of people know who you are. You know what I mean? Like that's there's nothing. I mean, I'm not getting anything extra out of it than meeting, you know, an equally as interesting person on the street. Just because they're not famous doesn't mean they're not equally as interesting. You know, so yeah, it's just so I don't really, because I don't bother people. Like, I don't bother people at the gym. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna walk up to a celebrity and just be like, "Hey, you're that guy. What's up, dude? Hey, dude. Hey, thanks, bro." I mean, I can't, you know, just because. I mean, and I'm not faulting people for like fanning out. You know, I'm really not. Like, I'm not faulting people for, because I mean, there's people that just feel like somebody, you know, changed their life. You know what I mean? Like, if they're a musician, you know, that's like, oh my God, your music, I listen to it 24/7. And oh, you know, and yeah, that happens, and you know, it's nice as long as it's harmless, you know, as long as they don't pull a John Lennon and fucking shoot you over it. Uh Thanks, Mark Callahan. Wonder why Karen's lawyers haven't addressed the phone seizure. That's a great question. Thank you, Mark. That's a great question, actually, because I was wondering the same thing recently myself. Why have they not addressed? I think what they're trying to do, if I had to guess, I'm just speculating, I have no idea, but I think what they might be trying to do is probably distance themselves from Turtle Boy as much as possible at the moment, just for the moment at least. And you know, it's probably best. You know what I mean? It makes less noise, less unnecessary noise. So I'm sure, you know, they're just going to address that issue, you know, as it comes when they have to address it. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to fly either. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Jackson and Eddie are going to be like, oh, well, fuck the phones. No, they're not going to publicly really bring it up or talk about it. I wouldn't imagine why they would do that. So, you know, but I feel like when the time comes and there's some sort of, they're going to file some sort of motion to be like, what the fuck is going on? Why did they take, you know, my client's phones? Well, Suzanne, you're saying keep the cases separate. As of now, the Commonwealth cannot access Karen's phones. It's no big deal. That's the thing, though, is ironically, in order to get the warrant, the probable cause, it states in the probable cause for the warrant, certain things that were found on Turtle Boy's tech, which they weren't supposed to look at. So they basically, I at least that's how I understood it, that they basically admitted, or they basically ratted on themselves, they grasped on themselves for violating a court order, because they are not supposed to be able to look through Turtle Boy's tech or phones yet. And somehow they did. Somehow they used information that they could have only gotten from Turtle Boy's tech to get probable cause to seize Karen Reed's phones. So explain that shit to me. That's possible too. That's possible too. Maybe, but I could have sworn. Here, man. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on. No, yeah, I don't have it. I wanted to go over that just to see if I'm correct. And Suzanne says she knows it for a fact. but I'm pretty sure that they referenced something because I understood, at least I feel like I understood the difference between Natalie's phone and Turtle Boy's phone in that. And you might be right, Katie May. You might be right. I'm saying that I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like I did. I feel like I made the differentiation between Natalie and Turtle Boy's phone to where I go, why is Tully admitting to accessing information from Turtle Boy's phones that he wasn't supposed to access? He never had a court order to access, just to seize, but not access. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Of course they did. We all know that they did anyway. What I'm saying is I got the impression from the probable cause for the search warrant for Karen Reed's tech, Tully basically ratted himself out and admitted to getting said probable cause, some of it from Turtle Boy's tech. But I'm not 100% on it. You know what I mean? Because it's so crazy that I'm just like, did he really just fucking do that? But I feel like when I read it live, that's what it turned out to be. Yeah, I mean, we'll just, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. But I mean, let's face it though. I mean, they absolutely went through Turtle Boy's phone. So I have no reason to not think that they would go through Karen Reed's phones. Of course they're going to go through Karen Reed's phones. Why wouldn't they go through Karen Reed's phones? I mean, look at what they've been doing. All right, so let me do this real quick. We'll move on from that. So let's take a look at Coffindoffer here. Oh my goodness.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Thank you so much. Tammy D's. We don't know exactly everything either side has up their sleeve. That's true. I know. We don't. But they're giving us enough to where we know what they're going for. I mean, let's just be honest here. The last hearing before this last one, Yannetti stood there and told the judge that Michael Morrissey's office is under federal investigation. And since then, we've seen documents that prove that this is true. And now we're seeing statements from Ted Daniel claiming that the U.S. attorney will be releasing those documents, but there'll be a gag order on them. So now, but the thing is we do know mostly. You know what I mean? I agree with you. You're right, because I mean, of course, we don't actually know, but we're seeing what they're going for. We're seeing them build up things here. So the defense is really in order to get this disqualification ruling, they have to be able to really back that shit up. That's not just some ham and eggs bullshit, dude. Like, you are saying that the district attorney is unethical, corrupt even, and to disqualify the district attorney from this case. That's a hell of a fucking move. That's a Hail Mary, dude. That's a long pass. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm just blown away by this. I've never seen this before in my life. I've never seen where the Commonwealth is being asked, where the state or the Commonwealth or the prosecution, the entire district attorney's office is being asked to just be disqualified because the defense is accusing them and the state police of corruption. I've never seen that. That shit is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. And we have all seen enough reason to believe this narrative. We've seen plenty. So thank you, Tammy Dees. You make an excellent point, and I do agree with it to a certain degree, but at the same time, we're seeing bold moves here where we see what's going on. Like taking the time to stand there and rant about there's a federal investigation during a hearing that's a bold move. And now they're saying, okay, we are going to move to disqualify the district attorney's office from this case due to corruption. That's unfucking heard of, dude. So I make no mistake, man. It's a hell of a thing. This all rests. I'm not saying the case rests on this. I'm saying just the disqualification aspect of it. The motion to disqualify the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office is a very, very fragile thing. So it all depends on how much the U.S. Attorney's Office uncovered and what the magnitude of and what the seriousness of these charges are going to be, if there's even going to be charges. I mean, it all depends on that as far as the disqualification goes. And that's probably a bad look during trial. Now, I don't know if that doesn't go through, does a jury know about that? Does a jury find out about the fact that they moved for this disqualification, but it got denied? Will the jury know about this when it goes to trial? Attorneys don't take that lightly. What's up, Olivia? It's good to see you. Attorneys don't take that lightly. They're not going to levy those accusations and move to disqualification if they don't have the goods to back, which anyone looking at this case can see they do. I mean, right. What's going on with this? Hold on. Let's see what's going on, chat. Okay. Let's move on. Hold on. Let me see if I can find something here. No, I'm not seeing anything. I was hoping to find, I know there was recently a thing, and Coffindoffer wasn't on it, but there was recently a court TV thing on the case, like a Vinnie Politan piece. I'll check for it in a second. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Thanks, guys, for waiting. I appreciate you. Dude. I mean, you're going to come into this chat and troll now? You got Olivia Nile, who's like the champion anti-troll on Twitter, and then you've got Cherry, and this is her realm. And you've got them, you've managed to piss them both off, Jules, whoever the fuck you are. This is very, very funny to me. You're a brave person, Jules. Yeah, it is. It's totally bitch Tim's fucking kryptonite. Bitch ass. Bitch ass motherfucker. Hold on. So let me read this. This lady, bro. Now, I can't access her Twitter, which would make this way more fun. I can't access her Twitter because she finally blocked me a couple months ago. But I have a few screenshots of some of her posts. This one says, some are saying there is no dog DNA because they did not swab the wounds. They took samples of the fabric from the shirt. Now, already the very first paragraph in this long drawn out stupidity from Jennifer Coffintwater, she is saying that they took samples of the fabric from the shirt. Okay, well, do you mean the shirt that was on the floor, not in a bag? The shirt that was on the floor where God knows how many other shirts have been, shoes. I mean, come on. Like, that's tainted evidence. That's tainted evidence. It's done. Like, you can't, as soon as they show the picture of his shirt sitting on the floor in the hospital, any DNA that's collected off of that shirt is not going to show. It's not going to do anything. And where is exactly, I was going to bring that up next, Olivia. Thank you. And where is John O'Keefe's hoodie sweatshirt missing from evidence? Taint. That's fucking funny. Why can't I highlight this? Mark Callahan says, wonder why Karen's lawyers aren't addressed. That's way old. My bad. Never mind. Is Tom in here? What's up, Tom? It's good to see you, buddy. So, yeah, I mean, she fails to mention the fact that shirt is, whatever they collect off of that is nothing. There's no point in collecting any evidence off of that shirt. Of course, they didn't swab the wounds. The medical examiner clearly stated that the wounds were from a blunt object, which made sense, considering he was hit by the car. I can't fucking believe that Jennifer fucking Coffindoffer actually made that mistake and spelled sense SINCE. Like, when I see people type that don't make no sense. Jennifer Coffindoffer literally did that in this post. Like, she literally did that in this post. She said, The ME clearly stated that the wounds were from a blunt object, which made sense considering he was hit by a car. Wow. So wasn't it also determined that the medical examiner wasn't qualified? And there's nothing that you're going to sit here and tell me. Like, the fact that Koffendorfer is still sticking to that story, no wonder she wasn't on panel this last time on Court TV. No wonder she wasn't. Because you're going to tell me that this person is going to look at those wounds after everything that's come out already. And even Vinnie Paulin at this point going, what is going on? Like, she's still going to stand by that ruling from this medical examiner that that was made by blunt force trauma. That was made by blunt force trauma. Those cuts, scratches, that is not blunt force trauma. Dude. This is not blunt force trauma, bro. Nobody is going to believe that. Nobody, I don't care how many times you say it out loud, is going to believe that that is blunt force trauma. What did Deet say? Hold on. She's qualified. She's just had some sketchy cases in the past. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Cherry, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. Listen, man, let me take a little detour here real quick. Take a little detour. So, and I'm glad I got Tom in here right now. Because, listen, I realize now, and I read Turtle Boy's, I read Turtle Boy's blog today. And he speaks facts. He does. Speaks facts. But the thing is, though, I mean, I'm only going to speak for myself here. I saw the shit and I laughed. I was streaming it. I thought it was fucking funny because here's the thing. A guy like, and I mean this with all due respect to Turtle Boy, you know, but a guy like Grant, like publicly putting out that he has to smoke weed. And this is why I'm addressing, I'll tell you why I'm addressing this in just a second, because I'm going to naturally come to it here. Publicly posting on Twitter that he smokes weed in public because he has colonitis and it keeps his asshole from bleeding. And I was appalled by the audacity but lack of conviction. You know what I mean? Like I was like, what in the did this guy really fucking say that? So this is why I brought this up, because it was me who started this whole thing with Grant and the asshole thing, the bleeding asshole thing. That was absolutely me. I have to take full accountability for that. Now, I mean, everybody's an adult and they followed along in their own way and did whatever they did. But I'm saying I was the one who reposted his fucking tweet about that and just went on a rant about it. And I've been joking about it on this channel ever since. But I got to tell you, I don't apologize for it. I have no fucks to give for Grant. I'm sorry. I realize that there's people saying that he's on the spectrum. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, if he's out in the world, then he is responsible for his own actions. He knows the difference between right and wrong. He explains his version of the difference between right and wrong all the time in his so-called writing. So I don't feel bad for this guy because he put that information out there in order to feel like he's being victimized for being criticized for smoking weed in public. I don't feel like a victim. If somebody accuses me of smoking weed in public, I'm going to go, and I'm not going to make an excuse for it. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be like, what the fuck do you care if I smoke weed in public? Mind your business. Tammy Dees, thank you so much. Justice was served today for Officer Chestnut. Let's all pray that we soon see justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. So I and the thing is who's his mom? Wendy Murphy, right? I don't know a lot about her. And I don't get in a lot of these back and forths with people on Twitter. I think the most I did was to address somebody who was just doxing people, and me being one of them. And I was just like, why? Like, like for what? And then making up lies, but I make my little memes about Grant, and I talk and make comments, you know what I mean? But I don't regret it because the thing about him is he's a fucking little weasel, dude. And he just fucking lies. And if he's not responsible for himself because he's got some sort of disability, and somebody should be watching him and taking accountability for him if he can't take accountability for himself and his own actions. And I call that person to be Wendy Murphy. So you need to, if your son is not capable of taking care of himself and you expect people to treat him like he's a victim because he's somehow being treated unfairly or somehow being, somebody is lacking in teaching him that there are consequences to spreading lies about people. People will say mean things to you. People will talk to you in a way that is not happy and friendly because they are displeased with your actions when it comes to writing and lying about people and calling it journalism. So, no, I don't think that I'll stop making Grant jokes. I don't think I will. And I'll just be honest about that because this dude, listen, I come into this thing and I come across certain things and I make my own judgments of certain behaviors. And if that somehow makes people have a problem with me, then that's fine too. But I don't want that to be the case. But at the same time, if I don't feel bad about something, I'm not going to just stop doing something because somebody else thinks that I should. I just don't believe in being that guy. I never have been. So, to me, that's a grown man responsible for his own actions, and he should be able to handle the same criticism and parody that he puts out on others. So I don't give a shit about his feelings if he doesn't give a shit about anyone else's. Because it's all over Twitter, man. it's all over Twitter, you know, like, oh my God, what a shame. And then Tom, you know, acted in a way that was, you know, just embarrassing. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's true. Tom, no offense. I'm just saying, maybe there's truth to that. Maybe Tom acted over the top. But the thing is also, man, you know, like, Tom's passionate about this case. And, you know, he sees an innocent woman being harassed. So he reacted when somebody who he knows is a threat, you know, and in his way, he was sticking up for Karen, you know. Did he use good judgment? Maybe not. But the stuff that I'm hearing on Twitter about Tom, and I'm like, really though? You know what I mean? Really? I mean, the dude is always out there, and thanks to him, I get to share, you know, thanks to him, I get to share footage of all of these beautiful people out there gathering in protest for something that they really believe in. And Tom's out there with every one of them, mixing it up, and it's all from the heart, you know. So I just try to focus on my gratitude to Tom for that, you know. And none of us are perfect, but it's just so funny that the closer to this case that we get to things becoming to light, the more the opposition now starts to act like, oh man, come on, man, don't pick on Grant, man. That's not, you know, that's not cool, man. Don't, you know, this and that. And he's got this. And I mean, it's colitis. You know what I mean? It's not cancer. It's not, you know, the guy has a bloody asshole and he used it as an excuse to smoke weed in public when he could have just been like, fuck you, I smoke weed. Mind your business. You know what I mean? So I have a lack of respect for him in that regard, and it makes for jokes. And if I think of a joke, I'm going to use it, damn it. And I just won't apologize for that. So, you know, call me petty and call me immature, call me childish. I really don't care. I really don't care. You know, I'm not here to represent a side. You know, I'm not here to represent a people. I never claim to do that. I'm grateful that we love each other. I'm grateful for that, you know, but I'm not here to set an example for anyone. The whole point of all this is independence, is it not? The whole point of all this is freedom of speech, which, I mean, freedom of thought should come with that too, no? Should be able to, I mean, at the very least, should be allowed to think what I want, say what I want. And someone who is not only criticizing people openly and using his platform to do it, but he's also lying when he does it. And if this person is deemed, no matter what his particular conditions are, if this person is deemed to be able to take care of themselves in the real world, he should be able to handle the very same criticism that he capitalizes from onto himself. He should be able to handle that. That is a grown man. And if I got jokes about his bloody asshole, I'm going to tell my jokes about a grown man's bloody asshole who knows perfectly how to conduct himself and why it's not okay to lie about people and use your platform to do it. And if all I'm saying is that he's got a bloody asshole and making jokes about it, shit, I'm going easy on a liar with a large platform. Fuck Grant. Give a shit about that dude. I don't give a fuck about that guy. And there's no fucking way that came from blunt force trauma. There's absolutely no way. And this thing goes on to say that the clothing samples came back negative. Some people want to leave this nugget out. Again, an ATF agent, fellow police officer, dog, 17-year-old, and 4 women didn't kill John O'Keefe. The car data recorder is going to clearly show this. I wonder about the car data recorder. What about the car data recorder? Is there a car data recorder that shows video of her hitting John O'Keefe? Because if that's the case, well, then case closed. Shit. Back it up, folks. We were wrong. I mean, that's their smoking gun. But wouldn't we see that in a probable cause affidavit? I mean, why wouldn't it be murder? Well, of course he did that. Of course he took that as an admission of guilt. Like, he was like, I've never even been in a car like that. Guilty as sin. What? I went over that. Like, what does that even mean, dude? Like, you're what motivates you? What motivates you, bro? I don't understand. And where is this person who's supposed to have been responsible for him, dude? Like, why is she just letting him go off the rails? And is it because she's off the rails herself? Let me see something here. Let's take a look real quick at a little Wendy Murphy. I've never done a dive on Wendy Murphy. Let's take a look at her. Let's take a look at the person responsible for the grant that we know. I just put her in YouTube. Apparently she gets around, so.
Men take credit for women's work for one reason, because they can.
What?
It's just one of the many injustices women endure in their lives.
So let me get this straight. That's the first fucking thing that comes out of this lady's mouth? That's the first thing that comes out of this lady's mouth. Because they can. What do you mean, bro? Like, that's easily the most toxic feminist shit. and it's just also really stupid. What, like, the very first thing she says, look at this. Very first thing that comes out of her
Men
face.
take credit for women's work for one reason, because they can. It's just one of the many injustices women endure in their lives simply because they're female. I'll give you another example. When I was a young lawyer, I asked a judge for a 15-minute break during trial so I could breastfeed my newborn baby girl. She wasn't sitting under my chair. She was in a private room being cared for by my mom.
Okay.
The judge said no. We don't take breaks for that. This was the same judge who 4 weeks earlier granted my opponent a 1-month delay in the trial.
You serious?
Because my bulging belly might prejudice the jury in my favor. Many years later, I had to give birth to my 5th child on a Sunday night.
I
induced her birth.
I want it stated for the record that if it wasn't for the other shit I seen on this lady, like Turtle Boy, fucking like her being muted and just talking, like that shit was hilarious. If it wasn't for the shit that I've seen her tweet, you know, I would not be laughing at what she's talking about right now, because some of what she's saying, like, there's some truth to it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes men are just fucking shit bags.
So I could get to the state Supreme Court Wednesday morning. This was after a different judge denied my request.
So this is Wendy Murphy. All I know about her, Deets, is that she is very vocal, and she's an attorney, or was an attorney. She's very vocal about the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case, and she's very, very vocal about Karen Reed being guilty. And her son is a really, really annoying dude who fancies himself a reporter. He got busted taking a picture of Turtle Boy's lawyer's laptop in court. Yeah, he's a mess. And this is his mom. And so other people know more about her than I do. I don't know a lot, man. But yeah, she hates men. But she thinks Karen Reed is totally guilty based on like evidence to the contrary.
To schedule the hearing prior to my due date. I got out of the hospital on a Tuesday afternoon, trudged to court the next morning, still in my maternity clothes, utterly exhausted, in a bit of pain, and carrying a 2.5-day-old baby. So you're probably thinking, what's with those judges? Why would they do that? Aren't there laws against sex discrimination? There are, and there were back then. But they don't work very well. Because the United States Constitution does not protect women equally.
She's his stepmother?
Under any laws.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't see her
including laws
resembling.
against sex discrimination. Most people don't know this about the Constitution because we don't teach it in schools and we don't talk about it very much. To the contrary, we promote the idea of equality for all as if it is a well-settled foundational principle of American democracy. In fact, the words equal justice under law are carved into stone on the outside of the United States Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C., even though that very court has repeatedly ruled that those words do not apply to women.
So she's out here talking about how men take credit for women's work. I mean, but don't women do that too? Because listen, I love the ladies, man. I really do. Like, I think you guys are just the strongest, like way more organized. Like, there's no like true crime channel run by a man where that man is able to do the research that a woman with a true crime channel can do. It doesn't happen. Like, and if one does, it's because they have a female doing the research for them. So like, unless you're like Gray Hughes. Gray Hughes is just like amazing. But the thing is I heard Gray Hughes thinks that Karen Reed is guilty. I haven't watched his live on that yet, but it'll be interesting. I'd like to find out. But the thing is, you know, but I mean, dude, that's just such a shitty, like, generalization. That's offensive to me. You know why that's offensive to me? You guys, it's in your face right now. When do I not give Cherry credit for everything? Like, I do. Cherry does. She is my oracle. She's my oracle to Batman. So, like, I mean, it's why, who the fuck? I mean, that's the thing, is it's like, it's not a big deal, you know. I make it clear, dude. You guys are not logging on here for my brains. I promise you that. You're not logging on here for my brains. Like, for my studies, for my study habits. You guys aren't logging on here for that. But to generalize all men like that and say, why do men take credit for women's work? That's not true. And what's funny is I agree with her about what women are capable of. Like, but why the fuck are you, like, why are you, like, lumping me up with all that shit? You know, that's not cool. Because you're saying men. Okay, maybe she didn't say all men, but she sure as shit didn't say some men. You know what I mean? She just said fucking men. It's shitty. This, like, anti-man propaganda that she's spewing here.
You probably already know this, but this problem is not unique to the United States. In 2020, the United Nations released a report in which it said no country has achieved gender equality.
I gotta speed her up, man.
No
'cause
country.
This is fucking excruciating.
And in their report, they describe many of the ways that women suffer harm because of their inequality, including obvious things like unequal pay, disproportionately high rates of rape, domestic abuse, sex trafficking, and, as I mentioned, discrimination against pregnant women. Lesser known harms can be harder to see and even harder to measure, like men taking credit for women's work. I just finished writing a book about this phenomenon in which I tell the stories of more than 25 women whose work was credited to men. And I explain in the book why the driving force behind the problem is women's inequality under the law. How can it not be?
I mean,
if you're not entitled to equal...
Dude, man, I know I'm going to get into some shit here, but fuck it, you know? Like, so, like, what do you mean work discrimination against women, man? Like, don't women get, like, maternity leave? Now, I get that happens some places. I'm sure it does. You know, sexual harassment happens in the workplace too. You know, like, you're always going to have an issue. That's why every fucking office has an HR department. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, it's like virtue signaling too. Like, I mean, of course, there's like women who there's discrimination when they're pregnant. I'm sure it happens. Nobody's fucking saying it's okay. I don't know what the fuck she's up here talking about. Like, nobody's out here, like, advocating for less pay for pregnant women or no maternity leave paid. Give them that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the truth is, I don't care. I don't care. It's not an issue that I ever have to deal with. Again, I'm so glad. You know what I mean? I never have to deal with that. You know? So, but I'm saying, it's like, what a thing to be outraged about generally. I understand being outraged about it if you're aware of a case and you're talking about it and doing it, but you know, I'm just trying to understand, like, what's her motive here? What is she trying to push here? She's trying to just push like fuck men, they suck. What is she? I'm trying to get what she's trying to like peddle here, dude.
Equal treatment under the law. You're easier to steal from because you have a worse chance of winning if you fight back. One of the women I write about is a little-known scientist named Eunice Foote. Eunice was raised in upstate New York in the 1800s in a large farming family. Her parents believed that women and girls deserved an education as much as men and boys, so they sent her to the Troy Female Seminary, which at the time was one of the only colleges in the country that offered women an education that was equal to that which was offered to men. This meant that Eunice could study math and science, as well as conversational French. Eunice loved science. She absolutely loved it. She wanted to be a scientist.
Well, all right,
but women weren't welcome in the profession. So she built a lab in her home, established herself as an amateur, and started doing experiments. In 1856, she designed an experiment to look at the effect of the sun's heat on different gases in the atmosphere. And what she found was that carbon dioxide traps the sun's heat more and takes longer to dissipate once the sun's heat is removed. In other words, Eunice had discovered the greenhouse effect.
Okay.
She was so excited, she wrote up her findings and she wanted to present them at the AAAS, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, which was a very prestigious academic conference. But women weren't welcome. So a man presented her paper for her. And good for him, he gave her full credit. Later that same year, 1856, Eunice's paper was published in the AJSA, a highly regarded journal, the American Journal for Science and Arts. It was the first time a woman's paper on physics had been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. So it was a big deal. 3 years later, in 1859, a man named John Tyndall, who had published a paper on eye color in the same journal where Eunice's paper had appeared, conducted a scientific study similar to Eunice's. And he came up with similar findings. Only he didn't cite Eunice's paper. He didn't mention Eunice at all. In fact, he declared himself the first person to discover the effect of the sun's heat on carbon dioxide. He became world famous. Eventually earned the title, the father of climate change. Buildings and institutes and satellites were named in his honor.
We got a special
Nobody honored Eunice.
liking for these bungolas.
That's how things went for a long time, until 2000.
Oh, fuck, dude. I got a copyright claim